Hello pilots and welcome back to this X-Wing Flight video brought to you by Out of Arc Gaming. As always, my name is Phil and today we have some more Empire action on TTS, but this time we have some Scum on the other side as well. So we got Wes back on TTS having a go with a list that he was toying with for a while, and we have Aaron on the left who is running an interesting Empire list. So let's have a quick look at the lists themselves. So on the left we have Juno Eclipse in the TIE Advance with Marksmanship, Targeting Synchronizer and Cluster Missiles. We have Maarek Stele with Predator, Marksmanship, Fire Control Systems and Cluster Missiles. We have Zertik Strom with Fire Control System, Proton Rockets and Munitions Failsafe. All of those are in the TIE Advance. We have two TIE Interceptors as well. We have Gideon Hask with Predator, Marksmanship and Targeting Computer, and Turr Phennir with Elusive, Marksmanship, and also the Targeting Computer. Really nice upgrade to actually stick on to the Interceptors, I think, because sometimes they really do miss having the ability to lock, and for 1 point, it's a really good one to stick on there. On the side, Wes is running 3 IGs. He's got D, C, and B for quite a beefy list over there. So we've got on IG 88D Marksmanship, Sync Laser Cannons, Seismic Charges, Contraband Cybernetics, and the IG 2000 upgrade. C has Marksmanship, Sync Laser Cannons, Proton Bombs, Contraband Cybernetics, Delayed Fuses, and the IG 2000 upgrade. And B has Marksmanship, Fire Control Systems, Sync Laser Cannons, Seismic Charges, Contraband Cybernetics, Delayed Fuses, and the IG 2000 upgrade. Now, this is using the AMG points. We recorded this game just before the X-Wing Alliance points dropped, but we are hoping to get some games in with those points soon. They look really, really exciting, really shaking up a little bit, so I'm curious to see how they work out. So the matchup we have today is Assault at the Satellite Array. So we've got the 5 tokens on the board that they are going to obviously be trying to stay close to score and see how they get on. Wes obviously has quite an advantage in regards to all of his ships being medium, so they will outposition the Empire if they are contesting an objective, so they'll count as 2 as opposed to 1, so that's going to be quite strong and something that Aaron's going to have to be aware of, as well as obviously try to take down those ships. And let me tell you, the IGs, they are pretty good, to be honest, and can do some serious work on there, especially where they have their IG 2000 upgrade, allowing them to use each other's ship abilities, which I think thematically is such a cool idea and works really well with the IG 2000s, but also is quite fun to see as well. So it'd be interesting to see if Aaron is going to be able to handle all of that hull and shields and all of the firepower that they've got on there. And it looks like 2 of the IGs have already moved up, ready to set some devices off to hopefully catch the Empire if they decide to go in quite fast. But the Interceptors have decided to fake off and not engage straight away, probably to try and link up a little bit with those TIE Advance to get some concentrated fire down onto those IGs, because there's a lot of health there and they've got good stat line, 3 of 8 dice on those ships. It's a lot that you're going to have to try and chew through. So that's going to be quite interesting to see how Aaron handles that. And looks like initiative has once again gone over to Aaron. Now for Wes it's quite nice, obviously with all of his ships having the exact same dial, all being initiative 4, means he can decide who is going to go for him in what order. He can really make sure that he can limit any bumping potential down quite well. And it looks like B is about to drop Seismic Charge there. Now that's going to be quite good in either catching Juno or Maarek if they decide to push hard, or just delaying them from getting into a really nice position there. Obviously, if you're going to K-turn on your first move, you're kind of telegraphing what you're going to do, so it makes it fairly obvious. Looks like the bomb drop token isn't quite working. Probably trying to put it on the other side of the ship. I don't know why. It seems to, like me, think that the IGs are facing the wrong way round. But just trying to get that token into position there. As I said, normally it would just link strap on the back and you'd be able to put it straight in, but it was being a bit finicky, so Aaron and Wes just getting it as close to where it should be as possible. But yeah, that's a pretty powerful seismic charge there. If Juno and Maarek decide to move in quickly, that could catch them out and not be ideal at all. They don't want to be losing any of their shields early doors. And Zertik there moving up to join that formation. Now it looks like Wes has elected not to drop any bombs with C, with the fact that those interceptors had turned off there. Probably a good idea. It would just be wasting ammunition there and potentially cause some issues for D if he were to drop that there. So I agree not to drop just yet, especially with the proton bomb. You want to try and make sure you've got the best opportunity to drop that, because if that hits either of the interceptors, that is going to be incredibly powerful, because they don't have any shields, so they'll just take a crit straight away. And any crit on an interceptor is a bad crit when you only have 3 hull and you want to stay as maneuverable as possible. Now, while Wes has obviously managed to potentially have a delaying turn against Aaron with his Empire, stopping them from pushing up so hard, he is gonna have to take a couple of turns to get around. He's got contraband cybernetics, so he could have slooped there to get round, but just electing to do the blue maneuver to get past there. Now, with having IG-88D on the board, that does give some additional shenanigans that are available there, meaning that you can turn those. So when you execute a signals loop maneuver, you may use another template at the same speed. So you could be doing that with a 3 hard or a straight instead. So you get a 3k turn or a 3 hard signals loop. So giving some extra maneuverability there. And yeah, as we see, D's coming down there, so a proton bomb would have been very much less than ideal. Obviously, those of you that haven't seen the IGs for quite a while, the 3 we've got B, C, and D. So with the IG 2000, all of those ships have the same, they have each other's pilot ability as well. So for B, after you perform an attack that misses, you may perform a bonus cannon attack. With the seismic charges, that is really, really good fun. After you perform a boost action, you may perform an evade action with IG-88C. And as we said, with D, while you execute a signals loop, you may use another template at the same speed instead. So a lot of maneuverability, potential to get some evades in there, and the chance to have a redo on your shots if you miss. and each ship themselves, they have the inbuilt ability as well, where when they calculate, they actually gain an additional calculate token. So that works really well with the sync laser cannons. If it's at range 3, your opponent doesn't get the range 3 bonus. So that combination of B and the shift ability is really good with the sync laser cannons, which I think is a really nice upgrade on there. So as we can see, Juno and Maarek decided they could see what was happening. They didn't want to take any damage from that seismic charge. And again, that's sometimes actually a really clever use of a device, not just to get damage in, but to force your opponent to make a difficult decision on what they're actually going to do. And Wes line this up lovely. No ships for Aaron have a shot on his IGs, but D is going to get a shot into Turr Phennir. I mentioned 3 of 8 dice earlier, obviously really powerful. That's going to be tough to get through there, but green dice are the worst dice. Red dice are definitely better. They've got much better odds on there, but the green dice, they can hurt you. Rolling more of them doesn't necessarily guarantee success. And that's not a bad shot there from D. So that is 1 damage going through after that focus token is spent, but probably gonna look, spending the elusive. There we go, managed to evade all of that damage. Is exactly why you have elusive on there. And if you're not going to have a shot, may as well spend your focus token. A little bit speculative from Wes there, but he was the only one with a shot, so definitely worth taking it. If he could have got some damage into Turr Phennir early, that would have been quite fortuitous, but no damage so far. And going to the scoring for turn 2, I think that D might only catch 1 objective. Let's see when the point scores go up. Aaron definitely scoring at least 1 point there, possibly 2. Oh, 2-0. So D was just out of range of that top of that middle objective there. So Wes is definitely going to have some fun now getting C and B back into position and having them not hit each other down at that bottom end and accidentally cause one of them to go off the board. Neither of them are stressed. They do have their full dials available to them. Possibly looking at maybe seeing B do a 1 hard and then boosting out, giving plenty of room there for C to maneuver. And not particularly good options for the lock there for Zertik, both at the absolute limits of range 3, both facing in directions which means that they're not likely to be shot at. But if you've got something that you can lock, gotta lock it. So Turr Phennir going up to join up with Zertik, and Gideon looking like he wants to see if he can get an early big shot into D there. Predator Marksmanship, he's got the targeting computer, so he's got a lot of modification options if he is able to keep that bullseye in effect. Let's see now where these IGs go. Again, curious as to whether B and C can clear each other and not bump there, because that's a very small amount of space they've got to work with there. Oh, the hard turn from D in the middle there, giving him plenty of options for shots. Maneuvering quite nicely in between those obstacles there as well, but he is going to definitely have to be turning away next turn unless he does a boost in. But I'm not sure. I don't think the boost would fit, to be honest. I think the back corner of the base might actually just land on the obstacle. But he's got a pretty good shot towards Gideon there, so maybe just calculate up. Wes just weighing up his options as to whether he can fit the boost in there, but no, he is electing for the calculator. I think that's the right option. I'm almost sure that a boost would possibly clip that obstacle with like the back corner, but we will never know. There's the too hard from yellow. There's going to be plenty of space for green to clear as long as green's doing the too hard as well. Possibly even a bank could fit, but a bank would be very spicy, very close to that board edge. And it looks like we do have that signals loop we're looking at there. Oh wow. That couldn't be any more parallel to the board edge, and that is very, very well done. So close to going off that board edge there. The precision that you get with TTS of the movements is definitely very important. You know that if it manages to fit or it bumps, it is accurate as well. Trying to do that in real life, whilst eminently possible, the margin of error on that is quite slight. And here come the ties. Unfortunately, I think they're all going to be out of range, which is a massive shame. Yeah, massive shame there. I mean, if they'd have managed to sneak a range 3 onto C, that would have been a perfect time to get a load of shots off with only one ship being able to potentially shoot back at them. If they were outside of range 3 of B as well, that would have been really solid. But it looks like the only shot that Aaron is going to have at the moment is Gideon, but he does have a range 2 bullseye. So Predator and Marksmanship alive. He's got the target lock. Doesn't trigger Gideon's ability to roll an additional attack die because D has not taken any damage yet, but this could be shields down if we get a good roll. 3 hits, changing one up to a crit. That is really good there. But that's a pretty good evade roll, to be honest. I think you got to spend one of your calculates on that. Yeah, just taking 1 shield, that's a solid result. You can't complain about that at all. And now it's going to be D's turn to respond, so let's see what he can do back to Gideon. He's only got the calculate. So he's looking at his options. He's got the range 1 into Gideon, or the range 2 into Gideon, or the range 2 obstructed into Turr Phennir. I think you've got to take that range 2 into Gideon. He's got no defensive mods. He's not obstructed, so it's only 3 dice. And if he does evade it, you just go again with the sync laser cannons. So the weight of fire that you can get out of these IGs, even if that first hit doesn't hit, but it strips a token or strips an ability, then going again with the cannon, very powerful. Ooh, hit crit. That's not good. So hit crit going through onto Turr Phennir, that is just got worse. That's a direct hit onto Gideon. That's a direct hit onto Gideon. That is Gideon one-shotted. He took 1 shield and then lost everything. Wow. That is absolutely devastating there for Aaron to, in turn 3, already lose one of his ships, especially a ship like Gideon, who is great for that mid and end game when the other ships are damaged, getting all that extra damage in. So that's going to make it quite tough, and it means that there's less ships for those IGs to focus down on now. Big 4 points for Wes as well, and he's definitely got 1 objective. He's got 2 objectives, so he actually steals both the middle and the bottom left objective there with that medium-sized base there. So that is a great round for Wes. He's gone from being 2 down to 6-3 up going into turn 4. He's got to be feeling good about that result there. Now, going into turn 4, it's going to be interesting to see how Aaron reacts to that, because, again, he's just lost 20% of his list in a really maneuverable, quite solid heavy hitter with Gideon Hask. So it's going to be quite disappointing for him. D is probably going to have to disengage a little bit to get around that obstacle, but could go off and pick up one of those objectives, probably at the top left. But Aaron is going to need to try and make sure he's going to put in as much damage as possible, most likely onto C, as he's going to be the closest possible target. Now, obviously, these tie advance with their advanced targets computer, getting to add a dice and add crits. You've got all the munitions on there as well. It's gonna. They've got the tools to do it, but it's not going to be easy. And D just decided to go over the obstacle and think it's fine, don't need to worry about that. So losing a shield there. Let's see if he takes any more damage off that obstacle. I mean, Wes has already done as much damage to himself as Aaron has at this point. Oh, when he does take another damage, Gideon would have absolutely loved that. But unlikely that D is going to still have a shot there, so not too bad unless it decides to boost, but could be a turn just to get a lock, get yourself centered and ready for the next turn. Obviously C and B are going to be coming in, so I'll be interested to see exactly where they end up and how danger close they are. Oh, just a cheeky one forward from C. I expect a double calculate ready for some sync laser cannon shenanigans. Now, for those of you that are looking to play the IGs, one thing I will say is sometimes you'll put cannons onto your ships and think, oh, it's a better shot because of the cannon. So, for instance, this one, sync laser cannon, range 3, you've got to calculate. That's going to be a really good shot at range 3 because your opponent won't get that range 3 marker, range 3 additional dice for defending. So I'll just go with that. Don't do that. Use that regular attack first, because if they do evade it, then you get to come back with that second attack. And again, as I said, you could potentially strip tokens off there. So yes, your opponent might get that range 3 bonus when they're defending, but if they then have to spend their focus token on that to evade that shot, and you can then go in with a sync laser cannon and you've got the calculate there, do it that way round. See if you can, that way it's 3 dice either way for the IG with their main shot and the sync laser cannon. So you could be essentially throwing 6 dice at your opponent. So I'd say always do that main attack first. And there was a late boost there from D, by the way. Where's forgot that because he's cleared the obstacle, you can still take an action because it's an asteroid and he hadn't taken he obviously hadn't become stressed from doing it. Obviously back in the old school days, if you went over an obstacle, you didn't get an action. So easy to sometimes mix those up even after the amount of time it's been updated. And Phennir having to dive away because that obstacle right in front of them there. But looks like we're getting all the locks set up on C, so IG-88C is going to be the prime target here. I will say, looking at the abilities of the ships, I feel kind of like that B is probably the better one to take out first because of that bonus shot ability on there. But D and C obviously provides so much maneuverability. It's a really tough one. But I do think B would have been my ideal to go first and take out first. But we've got Juno Eclipse taking the first shot there. And just checking her abilities. Always make sure you take a second to read your cards. Spending the target lock there. Advanced targeted computer coming in play because it looks like cluster missiles not used there. But 2 crits going at C right now. And forcing a spend of a calculate. That's another thing that makes the IG so tough to get through, is the double calculating. I know it can only change 1 focus, but it's still a consistent number of modifications that it's got there. Now I've got Maarek Stele coming in, doing the same. Again, Maarek still great ability for that mid to late game when the damage is already starting to flow. Marksmanship and advanced targeted computer make that really powerful by making them draw 3 damage cards when you take a crit and then choosing which one you want them to take. Looks like Fire Control and Predator Spend. That is a great roll. The 1 dice Fire Control, 1 dice Predator, Marksmanship, Advanced Targeted Computer to switch them all to 3 crits. Again, a shame that Juno wasn't able to get any of those crits. And oh, that's gotta hurt there for Aaron. He's getting those dice rolls, and then Wes just triple natural evades out. Oh, that. I've been in that position, and that hurts. That really does hurt for the player. Great roll for Wes there. I mean, you can't deny great roll for Wes, but that does hurt when you're on the receiving end of that. Especially when all 3 ships of Wes's do have position here to take shots. They could pick 1 ship and just try and take it straight out now. So they've all got Maarek and Juno. They could potentially take out either of them. Juno is, I think we just saw that Juno was at range 2. So I think Maarek is the bigger target though with his crit ability. But if you're going to roll triple evades all the time, then you don't have to worry about that. And there's the evade. So probably should be seeing the sync laser shot coming in now. Oh, I think we might have missed it there. Looks like we're moving on to B, who boosted and had the evade, so does not have a calculate. Luckily, the Tadamine link is not a thing anymore. Which is a bit of a shame, actually. I really enjoyed that upgrade. Let's see. So B is going to go for the synced laser cannon. That is unfortunate. I suppose he did really well with the evade, so he can't have all the dice playing really nicely for him. I think if I remember when we were recording this, the one thing that happened is I think Wes, because of the calculate mechanic on the sync laser cannon, I think he thought he needed to have calculate on there, but I had to remind him, no, it's just the range 3 fun with it. That's 2 hits from yellow IG-88C into Juno, marksmanshipping that crit. And that is 1 shield down, so not going to have the chance to use the sync laser cannon there. And now Zertik's turn to see if he can actually put some damage through. The range 2 onto C still has a calculate. Ooh, 2 hits fire control the last one? Nope. But using the advanced target computer, so that's hit crits. So some good red dice rolls here from Aaron. Just needs Wes to ruin his green dice rolls a little bit to make it a bit better for him. And that's not it. So some great green dice rolls there from Wes, which has meant that Aaron has not done any damage to those IGs and one shield off of Juno there. Point scoring wise though, objectively that's not a bad turn for Aaron. Looks like he's going to score 2 there, and I think D might be, let's have a look, might be, yeah, D is out of range of that objective again. So if the pattern holds, he's going to score really big next time with D. But the gap is closed a bit, 5 points to 6, still in Wes's favour. Now, whilst we wait for those dials to be set and road to be rolled, just want to remind you guys, if you do like what we're doing here at Out of Arc Gaming, you can support us on Patreon. The link for that is in the description below. So another turn of initiative for Aaron. Really good rolling for the initiative. Wes clearly saving all of his good rolls for defense there. But we have... oh, we have some munitions being dropped from C. So we've got proton bombs being dropped. Looking, anticipating the K-turn over the top from the TIE Advance. Looking, maybe thinking that they might try and do that 4K over the top once the IGs have moved forward. I mean, that is big. That's a risky play there. If Aaron decides to try and block with Zertik, maybe a 3-bank block there to stop C going too far. I mean, C's still got to move before Juno, so could easily get out of range, but depending on what these two IGs are doing, they could... oh, now that's a blocking move there from Zertik, looking to try and cover to the side, but also going to block, I don't think, unless C is doing a bank maneuver, that C is going to avoid that proton bomb. And just grabbing a focus with Phennir. Wondering if they are outside of range 1 of that proton. It's going to be very close. Actually, looking at the... we saw that Wes scored no points last turn with D, and I think it's a bit further distance between the proton and Phennir though, but that is a bump from C into Zertik. B does clear that though. So it looks like C not electing to take the red calculate. Does still have contraband cybernetics, so if it had decided to do it, it wouldn't be too bad. Interesting to know. Oh, there we go. He has taken the red calculate. Both players been very, very gentlemanly in allowing the others to take those actions on there as well when they sort of say, "Oh, do you mind?" It's quite nice. It's what you like to see. Whereas you're here to have fun and it's a casual game. It's nothing super serious. We're just having a laugh with some digital ships on a digital map. But those IGs now look like they're in a position to not take many prisoners. There is the K-turn over the top from Juno. Very, very well anticipated there from Wes with that proton bomb. Maarek Stele, on the other hand, doing the Talon roll. As you can see, Juno definitely would not have cleared a Talon roll there, so either had to just accept the bump or do the K-turn anyway. But that is a big cluster of ships right up there, and in the end it is only Juno that is going to be hit by that proton bomb, so that bump not as damaging for Wes as first anticipated. Shields down on Juno now, so that is going to be unfortunate, and still one more charge on the proton bombs as well, so I would be very surprised if we don't see a proton bomb trigger in a moment. Let's see, range 1 from Juno into C. No target lock, so no advanced target computer. Which is a shame, because the 4 dice range 1 would have been absolutely brilliant. Ooh, double crit with Marksmanship there, not bad. Can Wes have a poor roll? He's loaded them all with evades, but let's see. Again, great evade rolling there from Wes. The dice are definitely in Wes's favour there. So what can Phennir do? Got the target computer on there. Haven't really seen Phennir's ability come into play yet. There's only, I think, the first or second shot they've managed, but there we go. 3 hits into C. Surely one of these has to land. Can I get these dice 3D printed? They are great. No damage. Still no damage there. That is crazy. Phennir doing his ability to barrel or boost after forward attack, even while stressed. That stress token will come off because it's not a red action. It's just you may form a boost or barrel roll action after you attack, even while you're stressed. So that is a brilliant action. But wow, so far, those of you that have been keeping track, 1 damage in 5 turns. Aaron has managed 1 damage onto these IGs. The other 2 from an obstacle. That is insane. That has got to hurt, to be honest. That has got to hurt quite a lot there for Aaron. He's had some really good positions, but those evade dice. I mean, 3 evade dice, we said that they are good, but you don't expect it to be that good. And not sure who was shooting into where there, but doesn't have any impact, so Aaron got some evades on there, which is nice. No damage for him. But looks like it's now going to be B going into Zertik range 1. Gonna have to rely on the calculates for for modifications here, but for the 3, this could be another rough one. Oh no! Whilst those green dice are working really well for Wes, the red dice are not. I think we might need to recode those red dice to have slightly better odds because they are not doing particularly well there. Synced laser cannon won't get a chance to shoot because it is a range 2 to 3 gun. But we've got D left to take a shot. That's range 2, so if we don't manage to get it through, we will see a synced laser cannon here. But that's 3 hits. That's another great roll for Wes. And that is not particularly great. So Aaron elected to take both shields on Zertik there. I can only anticipate looking to save that focus to go into B. And it's a Proton Rocket into B as well. No target lock, so just the focus for modifications. Fingers crossed for a very good roll here. Not brilliant. Not brilliant. Just the 3, and this is well within Wes's Dice's wheelhouse to ignore, and just taking 1 damage there. That is very unfortunate for Aaron there, I would say. So many great positions for great shots, and just the dice said no, basically. Points wise, looks like both players are going to get another point each there. This time, D definitely taking that objective up there, sitting on top of it. So currently 6 to 7 in Wes's favour. The objectives definitely seem to be where Aaron is scoring most of his points because his dice really don't like him. But he's going to need to start getting some damage in. If he takes out one of these IGs, I mean, D is 6 points, C and B are 7 apiece. So if he can take out one of these IGs, that's a huge points haul for him. Whereas Aaron's ships are only 4 points apiece, so if he does lose another ship, the taking an IG out is still a good viable option, and that is going to be a really, really solid proton bomb there by the look of it from C. Yeah. With that huge cluster of ships, I don't know how many of those can avoid that. Zertik is in a tricky position. He's probably going to have to try and talon roll. IGD coming down is most likely going to get in the way of Juno. As to whether C and B can even clear without hitting, it's going to be tough. I think that we're definitely going to see Phennir and Juno eat that proton. There we go, Zertik doing talon roll there. I mean, it would be lovely if there's some space in there for Juno to avoid that proton bomb, but I just don't see how. I don't think Phennir... Boost barrel might get Phennir away from that, but the position of those obstacles is going to make it quite tricky. Ooh, just taking the focus. Has marksmanship, or has, sorry, target lock on C. Interesting positioning there from D. Go with D first is assuming that C and B have got some big long moves coming up. B doing the sloop. I don't feel that this is the right order to be doing those moves. I mean, lovely position there for B to come in just behind D. I mean, are we going to see contraband cybernetics trigger on C? And then get a sloop the other way? Get them all back in the fight? Let's see. Contraband has been flipped on B. I'm just having a bit of an issue with the radar, having to reset it. Ooh, that is a bump there for C. Does C take damage? Nope, no damage on C there. So once again, where's his dice luck holding up just nicely? It's a very tricky position. Yep, as we kind of anticipated, Juno going straight into the back of C, clearing the stress but taking it back because going to take a focus needs that there. But we are going to see 3 ships hit by the proton bombs. What can Maarek do? Oh, that's close. Maarek just slipping right in front of Zertik there. Still stress, so no action. This is going to be, I think, quite a rough turn for Aaron. He's going to take a fair amount of damage. That's a crit on Juno and Turr, and only a shield on C's. So this isn't going to be, not going to be particularly great. So let's see what does happen. So the crit on Juno, I believe that's a fuel leak by the look of it. Yeah, fuel leak on Juno Eclipse, and loose stabilizer down on Phennir. Yes, loose stabilizer. 2 crits that are not particularly great, and just a shield on C. So Wes continuing to do more damage to his ships than Aaron has actually managed. Brutal turn, but now it's time to see if Aaron can get some damage in. Range 1, bullseye shot into D. D has no shield, so this is the time to get those crits in with marksmanship. Oh, that's not great. Spend the focus there to flip that up and then just flip it straight to a crit with marksmanship. So hit crit going through. Does Wes's green dice luck run out? Absolutely not. So he's got the evade, and he still has a calculate there as well. So The green dice are still working very much in Wes' favour at the moment. We now have Maarek Stele, another range 1 shot. No marksmanship here, unfortunately, and I believe his target lock, unfortunately, is on C, but we do have a hit crit there. I think that's the focus at the top. So hit crit. And I think that might have actually been a hit crit, but more evades from Wes. Wow. This is just, it's starting to get a little bit painful here for Aaron. So we've got the target lock on C, but has marksmanship on D, but I think that was at range 3, so tough decision as to who to go for. Looks like he did end up going for D to try and get past those shields, but more evades on evades on evades. It's just, Aaron is really struggling to get anything to stick here. These green dice for Wes have been incredibly hot. Just, again, I think Aaron's put 2 damage through all games so far. All of the other damage has been done by his own, by bombs, by obstacles, by bumping. It is brutal, but on the plus side, no shot from C. D has a shot in on to Juno, range 1. No modifications available here though, so ooh, hit crit. And no modifications Juno Eclipse. That's Juno down. Even without the fuel leak, that is Juno down. That's another 4 points for Wes. That's going to take him up to 11. That is very powerful. Very, very painful. As an Empire player, you don't like to see it. I think that where Aaron could, he's flown really well. He's not flown poorly. Obviously, getting stuck into that melee there with the IGs, it was a great double bomb placement from Wes. He really read the board really well. So it's just unfortunate there. And again, some really hot green dice. I mean, some of those rolls that Aaron has had have been really good, but the green dice have just been better. And there is no damage on, I think, Zertik there from B, but yep, immediately going straight into D. Doesn't have, really wants to see if he can get some of that damage through 2 hits. And they go through. Damage going through onto D there from Zertik. That is the most damage I've seen Aaron do in 1 hit all game. So finally some damage is going through. Only another 3 more for D. And just to remind you, obviously, it does look, it looks a bit unfortunate for Aaron right now with being 6 points to 11, going into the scoring phase. It's going to go 6 to 13, but if he can get D down, that will level it up 13 points all. So he's not a million miles off with these ships being so many more points. Oh, sorry, if he takes D down, it'll take him to 12 points. Sorry, D is 6 points. But if he can take down one of these IGs, pulls himself right back into the game. Yes, Phennir has taken damage. Yes, Zertik has no shields. But if he can isolate one of these ships, which Unfortunately, D is going to be moving away from the action, but it's not over yet. Zertik doing a cheeky little jump over Maarek. Moving his lock over to red. Unfortunately, he's got, I think what's happening is he's got a little bit confused with which way around the ships are. I think he thinks that red is facing towards his board edge, not the other edge, because like me, I think he thought that the pointy bit was the back. That is unfortunate there. K-turn from D, getting him out of the fight. Great positioning. Probably going to be the last round here, to be honest. There's not much time left. Where is B going? Bumping into Zertik there. Not bad. It's going to give Maarek some headaches. Yeah, I mean, looking at the damage so far, as I said, I think Wes and Aaron have done just as much damage to those IGs as each other. And that is a big bump there. Now, when you're playing on TTS, one of the great things is it will tell you in the bottom left-hand corner if that's a friendly or a enemy bump, so you don't have to try and figure it out. So this was a friendly bump. C into B. And Wes continuing to cause damage to himself, making it look not quite as bad for Aaron there, but the damage is just spread. I mean, there's enough damage to have taken down a single IG, but it's spread a little bit across. These IGs have been really tough. And Phennir also bumping there, so yeah, this isn't going to be a great turn. Wes can just focus all in on one ship here, so I mean, Phennir's got one hole left, so if Wes does this right, he could use C and B to focus in on Zertik, see if he can take him down. If he doesn't, follow up with D, and if Zertik is down, D could just go straight into Phennir, and he could be taking out two ships, scoring himself 8 points, plus that objective there. But we do still have Maarek to shoot first. Not gonna do as much as you'd like, but if he can get a really good hit onto B and take down all of those shields. So range 1 with bullseye, no target lock. Looks like going oh no, we do have a target lock there, sorry. He's going into C with the lock. Advanced targeting computes that up to a crit. So that's actually a really good hit. That's a really good hit. So that is 1 shield, 2 hits, and a crit. And the best bit is Maarek still can trigger now and cause the drawing of 3 face-up cards and then picking which one he wants. So could trigger the direct hit there. Could think fuel leak, structural damage. It's a tough one. Oh, did that go into green? I thought that went into yellow. I thought that went into C. Okay, well, a little bit of confusion there, but still the crit does go through, so it still does trigger the crit mechanic. I honestly thought that was into C, which I think would have been a much better shot. It was into... But yeah, so it looks like the crit that we are triggering there is fuel leak. Which, not a bad crit. If you can trigger another crit, that's extra damage, so we'll see. Didn't see what options were there though, so... But honestly, I thought that was going into C. Would have been the better option. Phennir only has C, so... Wes with the initiative, so he's going to go first. It looks like he's going with D first. And that's a hit crit. Oh, so that was into Phennir. I personally think that was the wrong order to do it in. I think should have gone with B and C into Zertik first, see if you can take Zertik out and then move on to Phennir. But focus is spent there, so won't have that on the attack. But now we've got going into the synced laser cannon going in and getting that crit. Forgot about that already. Wow. Okay, ignore everything I said. That works out perfectly. Obviously, you won't have the sync laser cannons with B and C, but that's Phennir down, staying there because he's initiative 4, so we'll still get to shoot. But yellow, so C into Zertik. 3 hits. That's big. That's 2 hits into Zertik. That takes him down to 1. No focus token over there, so that takes Zertik down to 1 health. Can be finish Zertik off and just make this an absolutely devastating turn. Just the 1 hit. And Zertik evades. Zertik survives. Wow. Now let's see what Phennir and Zertik can do with their last shot. See if they can get enough damage in to make this semi-respectable. Two hits there. If this was into yellow, this could have done C in actually. Just the 1 damage. And that's Phennir coming off as the I4 step is now done. And the final shot of the game, Zertik into B. Getting a crit here. So getting a crit through. Or getting a hit and a crit through. No, blank out on the final roll. That is very disappointing and very anticlimactic for the end there. Oh, what a game. Those green dice of Wes's were just incredible. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen that many evades successfully rolled in a game with that many shots being fired. It ends 6 points to 18 in Wes's favour. Very well done, Wes. Very good use of the proton bombs there, and just Those green dice were incredible. Unfortunate for Aaron that I think he flew really well. Just a bit unfortunate again with Wes's green dice, but both players flew really well there. So a great game. We have more games coming up soon, guys, so don't worry, we've got plenty of action. We will start having a look at using the X-Wing Alliance points as well. We're excited to get those on the board. We've been writing a few lists up, so it'd be interesting to see what we get there. But in the meantime, thank you all so much for watching. Again, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you next time.